Warren Buffett made billions of dollars using compound interest. I'm going to show you guys how to take that concept and transition it into sports betting so that way you could build your bankroll to new heights. Let's jump into the whiteboard so I can show you how to get that done.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about compound interest, how we're going to apply that to sports betting. So let's start with a $5,000 bankroll, okay? This is what we're going to do. We're going to highlight that. $5,000 bankroll is what we're starting out with. We're going to aim to do 1% as our unit size. All right, 1% of that is $50. That's what you're starting out with, okay? Starting out with 50 bucks. So this is the most conservative level that you could get right here from what I'm about to show you, okay? So let's go ahead and address exactly what it looks like when you take your $5,000 bankroll and you compound it using compound interest, and we're expected to get a 10% ROI each month, which equals out to be 10 units. All right, so now when you're betting when your bankroll is 5,000, but you're betting 1%, that's $50 unit size. Yeah, okay, some people think maybe 50 bucks is not a lot. Like, I'm not going to make a lot of money doing that. But let's go ahead and see what happens when you start compounding it. So through month one, you're going to make 500 bucks. That's the way it's going to go, okay? You're going to make $500, and then we're going to move on to the next month. Next month, now what happened? You made $550. And then the next month after that, now we're slowly gathering up, right? It starts to add in little increments here. If you really look close, it starts to add up. Let's go up to month 6 here. You have $8,857. Yeah, it took you 6 months to gain almost $4,000, but just think, risk level wise, you're at the most minimal risk possible here. Okay, this is the most minimal risk possible, where you're doing a 1% unit size and you're aiming for 10 units, which is a low amount of units that you could achieve. Everybody could achieve that with the right strategy. You could achieve 10 units in a month. You just have to have everything line up because you are not putting yourself at huge risk here. The reason why is because at a 1% unit size, people don't understand this, because when you stay consistent betting 1%, you would have to lose 100 bets in a row. You'd have to lose 100 bets in a row to lose your bankroll. That would be 100%. You would have to lose 100 bets in a row, which is not going to happen, okay? Most people quit and give up if they lose 10 bets in a row, let alone losing 100 in a row, okay? It's not going to happen. You'd be the worst sports bettor of all time if you lose 100 bets in a row. This is why this is the most conservative level here, because it shows you exactly what you can achieve through compound interest and how applying that to sports betting helps. Now, if you guys want to fast forward through all this and learn the exact strategies that I use every single day to be able to apply that to the compound interest that you can do with your bankroll, click the link in the description. So that way I could show you exactly the strategies to be able to reach that ROI that you could get month in and month out. So let's go through again. We went to month 6 here. We're almost at $4,000. All right. As you progress, the separation gets bigger and bigger, as you guys notice. Like the separation from here to here wasn't that big from month 1 to month 3. But if we take a look at the separation from month 7 to month 10, look at that. Okay, that's over $3,000 of separation here. Whereas in here we had what? 1,000, because we just started out, but later on, the bigger you get, the more money you make, right? We got a separation of almost 3,000 here. So the further you get down the scale, the grander it becomes. That's why compound interest in sports betting is the same concept as compound interest in the stock market, because it's taking the money that you already have invested in here and just compounding it over and over. Now, this isn't going to happen, obviously, if your first month with a $5,000 bankroll, you reach $5,500, and guess what? You take out $500 and now you're restarting it all over again. That's obviously not going to happen, all right? Or we get down to month 5 here and you take out $3,000 and you're back to $5,000. You'd have to restart this whole process over again. But this is what investing looks like. Because if you start with this and it's not money that you're trying to take out every single week or every single month to be able to pay bills or anything like that, then you will gradually increase. And as you see, once you're increasing, now look, if you get towards 12 months here, we took a $5,000 bankroll, turned it into, I'm going to draw that line right here, turned it into 15,000, a little bit over 15,000. So we 3 times our bankroll there. This is with sports betting, just trying to get 10 units a month. Okay, if you could just get 10 units a month, this is what you could do. You're tripling your bankroll. This is almost unheard of. In the stock market, this is unheard of, because In the stock market, this right here, this 10% is not monthly, it's yearly. They're looking to get about 10% yearly, not monthly. Okay, this is obtainable though in sports betting. And then people say, oh, I understand, but when it comes down to it, you can get banned at sports books and everything. But if you do it the correct way, you can make this happen. If you have your bets split up between sports books, and as of now, going forward, starting 2026, because of the new bill that Trump put out, sports books are going to start following in line here, because one has already agreed to it, to where they're going to lift the limits for people of getting banned or whatnot, because they're going to just let you bet as much as you want, and they're not going to ban you or limit you. So this is going to be huge for adapting this type of betting to that concept, because then you don't have to worry about getting banned and stuff like that. The only time they're going to ban players are when they're betting same sides and arbitraging at the same sports book. They don't want that, obviously. But betting wise, they're going to let it go a little bit. We're going to see what happens in 2026 when they do let that go. All right, but like I said, you could take a $5,000 bankroll and turn it into $15,000 in 1 year, just trying to hit 10 units a month. That's it, at 1%. Like I said, you started out with a $5,000 bankroll, so you have to understand how that goes. Okay, now if you reassess your unit size every week, every 2 weeks, and you turn this into oh, well, now I'm reassessing every 2 weeks, I don't suggest that, but then you really accelerate all of this growth. But you have to literally be hitting consistently 10 units every single month, or within the time frame of the year, it has to average out to that. Because if it doesn't, then you're going to screw yourself, because if you adjust your bankroll and adjust your unit size 2 weeks in, every 2 weeks, it gets a little bit complicated doing that. All right, but if you stick to what I just said right here, stick with a $5,000 bankroll, 1% unit size, aim for 10 a month, compound interest takes effect. You've taken a $5,000 bankroll and you've hit 300% on that, which is 3x. You've turned 5,000 into $692. All right, so that is how you can take compound interest with the right strategy and adapt it to sports betting to get better returns than the stock market. Now, to show you guys an even better visual here, this is a calculator that you could use, compound interest calculator. So this right here shows you exactly, this is the calculator, what I just showed you on the board. Okay, so you started out with 5,000, you took that 5,000, you compounded it at an interest rate, which would be your units. Okay, we did 10, that's monthly, every single month, and we did that over the course of a year. And when you calculate it, this is what you get. You turned your $5,000 bankroll into $15,692.14. You see, this is when it becomes an investment and you're not gambling. A gambler is somebody that's going to take $5,000 bankroll, is going to go and start betting $1,000 plays, and then they end up losing, and then they have to re-up next month because they don't have no money left. Okay, this, what I just taught you guys and just showed you guys, is investing, and that is how you are going to be able to turn a bankroll into 3x, 4x, 5x, depending on how long you let that compound interest go. Because let's look, for example, let's take it 2 years now. Let's say we go 2 years now. We've took that $5,000 bankroll using compound interest over 2 years, and now I've turned it into almost 50 grand. All right, that's crazy, isn't it? Over 2 years? That's 2 years. If you could stay consistent for 2 years with the right strategy and getting 10 units per month on that strategy, you could take 5,000 and turn it into 50. That's literally how you could do that. And this is, like I said, minimal risk. This is at 1% unit. 1% unit size, you could literally do exactly what I'm just showing you right now in this calculator. So if you guys want the right strategies to be able to use with the compound interest and take effect, make sure you guys click the link in the description so I could just show you exactly the strategies that you need to be able to hit that 10 units a month. And guess what? You don't have to worry about anything but just compounding your bankroll. And remember, every investment becomes a winning opportunity when you have an edge. I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.